Hello, I'm Catherine Logan, coming to you today from Copenhagen, where I'm at the GBTA VDR Conference 2024, which we're holding in partnership with the Nordic Business Travel Association. Joining me today is Keesup Choe, CEO of PredictX. Keesup, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Great.
Yeah.
Great to have you here. Keesup, you have been a regular contributor to our conferences over the years, talking about machine learning, data science and AI. And we see that AI is really taking off in the business travel industry. And I think it's overwhelming, the potential of it and how to implement it.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to travel managers who are considering implementing AI?
Well, A, you have to get started. B, you have to start to learn a little bit about it. And in fact, I'm doing a session tomorrow on Tuesday, and it's intro to AI, half of it, but the other half is I'm actually going to lead a training course on prompt engineering. You might have heard that term. It sounds fancier than it really is, but this is now the new career path for lots of people. And roughly speaking, it's basically how to talk to AI to get it to do what you want. So knowing how to control it, and making it effective is quite important when you start to try to apply it to any business, including business travel. Yeah.
So it's about asking the right questions?
Well, kind of, but it's almost best to think about it as another language.
Okay.
Okay, so in Spanish, you may know how to say, let's go to the beach, vamos a la playa.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know a little bit more than that to actually do some business instructions, right?
Okay.
So it's a language. It's not really engineering. It's not mathematics. It's not computer code or anything. And the people who tend to pick it up better really tend to be the non-technical people, the humanities, the linguists, and so on and so forth.
So is there a nuance to the language then?
Once you crack the code, it kind of starts opening up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What developments are you seeing from other industries that are adopting AI? And, what do you think would be important for business travel?
Yeah, so almost every big tech firm now has a support AI, right? So if you remember, on the first advent of chatbots, pretty much everyone wanted to figure out how do I get to the human being as soon as possible, because the automated chatbots were not very good, right? Well, now you wouldn't really know whether it's a human or not. So that's the first application that you're seeing all over the place. And I think most enterprises are implementing such a thing for internal use for their staff. And if they haven't released it yet, I gotta think the TMCs will have something similar, right? So that's the easiest no-brainer use case. But the biggest exciting development over the last 3 to 6 months, and something that we've been really focused on, is this notion of agents. So basically, it's a way to customize an AI to do something very specific, to do a task. And you can have as many of these as you like. Each one has a specialty or a task or an expertise. And you could think of this almost like creating a virtual workforce. So for instance, you can create an AI that's really an expert on contracting. And that AI can autonomously undertake work on your behalf. So you could just set a goal to say, resolve all of the outstanding contractual issues with this vendor or whatever it is. And then it will then examine it, look up the appropriate regulatory requirements or legal jurisdictions, create for you a working document, all of that stuff, including then the response to the other side. So autonomously do that. And you can have, like I said, unlimited number of these agents working with you, working with each other.
Wow.
And, yeah, so that's already live. That's something that we've already deployed. And that gets really exciting because I often said this industry, especially on the buyers, there's never been so few people in charge of the well-being of so many who are spending so much, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's not ever been a single company that we've talked to who says we're overstaffed, right? We have too much. So it's a way of now offloading everything that is sort of, well, certainly anything repetitive, anything that you need to do more than once, but also just really this unlimitedness. So if something comes up for the first time, like a security issue in Namibia or something, you can create an agent that's really expert at that, gets all the relevant information, helps you through that issue.
So you train that.
Yeah. Well, it's not even training. That would be overstating the complexity of it. Again, it's prompt engineering and knowing how to create an agent.
So somebody described it to me once as being like, with AI, you would treat it like a graduate, somebody who is they're not necessarily the finished article, but they have a degree of knowledge. They've got a degree of reasoning. They will be able to get something to you at a certain level, and then you review it. But they've saved you all the time that would be required to get you to that point.
That's a really good analogy. The only thing I would add to that is that was true 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I think now it's more like a new recruit with maybe 2 or 3 years of experience.
Wow, my goodness. Yeah.
The capacity and the abilities are going so fast. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
There are models now that literally can execute other systems. So imagine, so this isn't even behind the scenes. It can go in and log in as you, push the buttons that you should be pushing, and go on to the other systems and do the same. Go on and bring up Excel and do something for you if you want. I mean,
yeah.
The rate of progress is astounding.
Yeah, well, and I think that I can remember last year you did the education session, and it was the most talked about session. Yeah. So I would, I'd recommend anybody with GBTA membership to go on to On Demand, watch that session, because there were literally minds blown all over Hamburg.
Well, this year we're going to actually create AI agents and execute a hotel RFP.
Wow.
Okay. During the session.
Okay, my goodness, that's fantastic. So, but I mean, look, what you're saying, it feels like it is that there's a massive pace of change with regard to this. That that AI is becoming so much more powerful and effective, and I think that there's a degree of caution and concern around this, around privacy and so on. So, what would you say to an organization as to how they protect themselves from a legal perspective around AI?
Yeah. So in the same way, so most companies, when you're dealing with a supplier, has a data privacy requirement, agreement, right?
Yeah.
And that's important for it governs like privacy and encryption and things like that. Data handling when it gets deleted. It actually doesn't handle the issues that AI brings up. So we've actually created a template called for an AI addendum that what we think everyone should incorporate. So it has things like safety, security, anti-bias, things like that. And also requirements on the vendor in terms of their own training. So these are issues that you wouldn't even have to face except for the fact that AI is here. And you might say that we're not working with any AI vendors, but the reality is that the big established companies like Concur and Salesforce and others are already starting to incorporate AI into their system. So even if you do nothing, the system you're working on may have an AI aspect that you have not contractually protected yourself against, right? Mm-hmm. So we haven't seen that many companies, when they're contracting with us, have their own AI addendum. So we usually supply, here's a template that you might want to look at. So as part of my session, we'll have a free download of an AI addendum that people can take and adapt to their own.
So do you think the assumption has got to be within the next few years, any company that you're working with will be using a degree of AI, and so therefore that addendum should be in there?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll put it another way. Can you think of any established supplier in this industry, from Amex GBT to Concur to Amadeus and so on, who have said they're not working on it? Everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah.
So which means this issue will be there, even if you do nothing. So you have to protect yourself against it.
I feel like we should have a monthly broadcast studio to keep up to date on this.
So fast. Incredible, incredible.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming and sharing your insights. We really, really do appreciate it.
No, please come. It's training. It's true education. There's no sales. You know that I don't do any sales stuff, right? We're going to teach you how to do prompt engineering.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Keesup.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm Catherine Logan, coming to you from Copenhagen at the GBTA VDR conference in partnership with the Nordic Business Travel Associations. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.